Tom decided he was done, so it became my music, which it was anyway. All the leftover stuff was my stuff. So I think a lot of people are just born into their beliefs. You know, they come down from their parents, their friends, whatever. And I don't believe in God or the devil. I don't believe in anything. I'm an atheist. I'm still a metal fan in general. You know, if I put on music on my own that wasn't satellite radio, you know, I'd put on Priest or Maiden or Sabbath, obviously, Deep Purple, you know, all my old influences, early punk.
Moshpit Passion, you know, for the passion of music.
Herzlich willkommen hier bei Moshpit Passion auf YouTube. Ich bin der Kerry und wie ihr sehen könnt, ich bin nicht alleine hier. Ich habe einen ganz besonderen Gast. Ich muss ihn nicht weiter vorstellen. Ihr kennt ihn, ihr habt alle seine Alben. Wir sind heute hier, um über das neue Album von Kerry King zu sprechen. From Hell I Rise heißt das Ganze. Nochmal vielen lieben Dank an das Label, welches uns hier eingeladen hat. Nicht wundern, ich werde jetzt ins Englische rüber switchen, aber ihr könnt unten bei YouTube auf den Einstellungen draufklicken. Dort seht ihr die ganzen Untertitel in deutscher Sprache und ich wünsche euch jetzt ganz viel Spaß. So Kerry, thank you very much to have you here at Moshpit Passion.
Cheers, 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 cheers.
How was your day yesterday? Because yesterday was the main event at the castle, the listening session.
There's a lot of press here during the day. You know, and then we went and played the album. Some people had heard it, some people hadn't, so that was fun. It's fun watching the reaction to everybody. You know, everybody at some point was headbanging at their table.
I want direct start with your new record. When I saw the artwork, the image and your logo, I saw all these reference, let me say, to Satan, hell, the title, there's the word hell in it, your logo, the cross upside down. And after 40 years, if you compare it from your career at the beginning, is it still something that is in your heart and you want to express? Was it a development? Do you see any differences?
I think it's musically and visually, I think it's just an extension of where I came from. You know, musically, had Slayer not broken up, most of this would be on the next Slayer record. But you know, Tom decided he was done, so it became my music, which it was anyway. All the leftover stuff was my stuff. So, you know, I just finished it for the project with the new guys.
How do you see this topic that you still getting a lot of credits from the black metal scene? Because in the 80s, the image of Satan was still a black metal, early thrash metal theme, but you stick to that. And also, like I said before, there are also hints and elements on that on your new record. How is it for you to still get credits from different genres?
I guess that means I'm doing something right, you know. Certainly flattering. I'm still a metal fan in general. You know, if I put on music on my own that wasn't satellite radio, you know, I'd put on Priest or Maiden or Sabbath, obviously, Deep Purple, you know, all my old influences, early punk, stuff like that. So I understand influence, and it's very important to a lot of people. It's still important to me. On this album, you know, I have a couple heavily punk influenced songs. So, you know, I wanted to represent my influences through history on this record, and I think I got them all.
I want to know is that the record, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, were leftovers from your past career. And when you started to work on that record, because COVID-19 hit, everything was shut down, was it on your home studio, on your computer, and after everything was open, you build the band? Or
my home studio is an amp about the size of my boot, and my phone. That's my studio. So when I finish a song, I'll record it on my phone, send it to Paul immediately, send him some drum charts. So whenever we get together, within 5 minutes, we'll have a song that we can just listen to and you know, see if things need to be changed. The band was, I mean, Paul was with me from day one. Phil was with me since like 2018. Kyle was with me pretty early on. I hit him up when Hell Yeah was shutting down. I just wanted him to know that if he was still interested in playing, I had work for him if he was interested. You know, and Mark worked with us a lot, even though he was the last one to get confirmed. He got confirmed like 14 months ago. And but he was working with us before that. He was working on demos. He'd come out every 6 or 7 weeks and outdo the demo he did before and sing new ones if there was new lyrics. Then when I finally gave him the gig, he was super excited, man, like a fan excited. He was so besides himself. He texted me thinking he texted his mom because he wanted to share it with his mom.
Yeah.
And I texted him back, "I love you too, man. We're cool."
Okay, thanks, man.
So it was funny. He was genuinely like excited to be a part of it. So just being a part of that situation told me immediately that he was the right choice.
Nice. And how hard was it for you, or at least for the other band members, to stay quiet about the whole band? Because technology is like, here's my smartphone, I open Instagram, can spread everything out of the world. How was it? How do you arrange that to say, like, guys, please be quiet, there's an official announcement? Yeah.
I am very happy I wasn't in their shoes, you know, because, I mean, I told very close friends of mine who I trust, you know, and they didn't tell anybody, but I can only imagine for Phil, Kyle, and Mark that, you know, life had to be super difficult because that's the biggest secret in the world. And they all did it, you know, when we finally made the announcement. You know, a handful of people figured it out here and there, but I mean, for the most part, no one knew, which I was very excited about because I still like, I still have the same publicist I've had for the last at least 20 years. And, you know, she always says, if you don't have anything to say, don't say it, you know, if it's not at the right moment. So the guys got that. And when it was finally announced, you know, they got to, you know, tell whoever they wanted to tell. But that had to be difficult.
I'm a huge Hell Yeah fan. So for me, it's good to see that Kyle is back to see him.
Kyle's a great dude. Yeah. You know, he's a great presence on stage. He's my favorite one to watch. You know, when we're doing the video, I just look at scenes of Kyle and go, he's just fun to watch. You know, he's lefty and he's got the dreads flying all over the place. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with everybody in the band. You know, everybody was obviously the right choice now that we're here.
I can't wait to see you live. There will also be a tour. In a couple of months, you will play, for instance, Rock am Ring, major festival here, and many club shows. And I want a little bit talk more about the record title. For me, it's a heavy title, From Hell I Rise. What happened that you were rising from hell?
You know, I think it's got a number of things it can mean to different people. A number of things it means to me, really. You know, Slayer had a lot of hell going on in its music. So, I mean, it could be From Hell I Rise because I'm rising from Slayer, or you can take it as, you know, coming out of the pandemic, you know, being home for 4 years. I've never been home 4 years in my life. So, you know, getting back out, playing for my friends all over the world, you know, maybe that's the From Hell I Rise. I think that's, to me, it's more that one, you know, just getting back out, getting on stage, performing and, you know, doing what I'm put here to do.
You said something interesting also earlier when it comes to the right people which you choose for your team. Kerry King is a new band and also the music business changed over the last 40 years. So how hard is it to build up a new band, at least you can say, and also to choose the right even business partners, not even the team who's creating the music, but also the people around you in those days?
I kept everybody. You know, I kept my manager, I kept my accountant, I kept my attorney. They've been my people for decades, you know, and I told them all, it's probably not going to be Slayer money, but, you know, if you want to continue business-wise, I'd like to have everyone. I told everybody in my crew that. When we started to get people for this upcoming touring cycle, I had my top 5 that I wanted, and I got 4 of them. So I was very happy with that. I got my same sound guy, I got my same lighting guy, I got my same monitor guy, and I got my own tech, which I've had for quite a while. So I was very happy with that. A couple new faces, but they come highly recommended. We'll see how it pans out on tour. You never know till you get out there. But the band's great. I kept my own booking agent, kept everybody. It worked out very well. Yeah.
When it comes to, in general, again, music business and changes, because also the whole, let me say, how you promote a record is different than 40 years ago. Social media is a big part. Is it something where you say, all right, I give it to a different person, please give me a concept, or is it something where where you are a part of it and say, hey, I got an idea, I want to do this and that. So how do you arrange this in, let me say, the modern world with TikTok, Instagram, etc.?
For me, that's more the record company, because I don't have social media of any kind. I never have.
Yeah.
But apparently I do for this band. And the record company has great ideas for that. People that are very into social media, so they know how to approach it, how to advertise, how to get the most bang for the moment, so to speak. So yeah, if I had an idea, I would pass it on, but that's not really my forte.
Now on this record, or even if you compare it to the beginning of your career, I can guess a lot of people were like in the early beginnings, oh, I'm offended from those lyrics, like, oh, hell and Satan. Today is Satan, skull, hell, metal, something which is a very common, you can say.
Yeah, I think people got desensitized over the decades, because when we came out, it was far more taboo than it is now. And I think what I do is more like just putting opinions on the table. I think a lot of people are just born into their beliefs. They come down from their parents, their friends, whatever. And I don't believe in God or the devil. I don't believe in anything. I'm an atheist. Yeah. But I like to put options on the table for those people that may never have questioned what they believe or why they believe it. I don't care if you believe in God. Good on you. Have fun with that. That's a good story. But I just like to throw things on the table and say, hey, have you ever thought of a different perspective? Have you ever thought of all the preachers that get arrested for fondling little boys? This world isn't perfect. So I just put things out on the table and hopefully get people thinking about their own life and figure things out for themselves.
It's an interesting point, because my generation, I'm mid-30, a lot of people stepping away from church and saying, I don't want to do with something, let me say, nobody knows exactly where the money goes, why, priests are into kids, those things are happening. And even me and my wife, we got a discussion if we want our daughters, let me say, to be a part of the church. And I was like, I don't know. She's also like, I don't know. And we skipped that. And I know for our family was like a huge discussion about that. I'm like, no, I can't be my own child to be a part of something that's, you got a lot of questions, you can say.
Sure. And I think that's very healthy for that child to come up and make their own mind up.
Yeah, that was also a major point, that we give our kids one day the option, do you want to be a part of the church? Okay, look what happened, not only in the past 20 years, also when these things happened 200 years, 300 years ago. It's a deep history about that. And then you will see, and it's for me also good that there are artists who, let me say, putting options on the table and not acting like a priest, saying you have to believe this, you have to eat that, you don't have to do this. It's like, it's my life. I want to decide what I'm to do. And that's good to see that there are still bands like not pushing their beliefs and giving.
Yeah, that's why first and foremost I always say I am an atheist. I don't believe any of it, but I don't mind writing about it. I like to think of my songs as mini screenplays, that give you visuals in your mind. And it just makes you think of things, makes you think like you're watching a movie in your head. A little, maybe someday somebody will make up a movie based on a short story by Kerry King, and that story is my song.
what, for instance, I really like is that all these images are working on different layers, like visually, because I'm a graphic designer. I saw your logo and I was like, perfect, you know, the mirrored K, the cross upside down. Who came up with this idea?
I'm not positive. I knew when it came out, but it's been a while since we've had that. But it's visually stunning. You know, it's very nice to look at. We've had that for a couple band names that we were running with until we got to the trademark attorney, and they said, you don't want to mess with those names just because, you know, you either have to buy the copyright and then get confusion between companies, not necessarily bands, but just business-wise, it wasn't good. They were good names, but business-wise, they weren't good choices.
Do you think maybe to put all the satanic hell image on different layers? Because I know yesterday on the main event there was a guy, he is not producing specific vinyl, but at least you can say this. He was putting blood in one of your earlier bands in a career, and which came out a couple months ago. Could you imagine to put this kind of thing for your own project again, to release it like blood-filled vinyl or something like that, or with churches?
I saw one the other day. I don't know if it was ours, but I saw somebody holding one. I'm like, that looks really cool. So yeah, you know, if it fits the application we're trying to achieve, you know, I would be absolutely into it. You know, and I know RPM likes to do the multiple colored LPs, and there's a bunch of those already, so it wouldn't surprise me if we did a re-release a year or two down the line, spice it up some way.
Are you also still buying records or go into a shop?
Not really, you know. Now that I live in New York, I don't have any room for anything.
Oh, okay.
And you know, with satellite radio, you know, there's an outlet for so much music just right there. I've still got all my LPs from when I was a teenager. I still got all that stuff. I got tons of things signed by Venom. I've got tons of things signed by Priest and King Diamond. So, you know, I'm still a fan at heart. That stuff has meaning for me.
When it comes to guitars and the new record, was there any kind of new signature or new things you tried, new gear you got, and you were like, all right, I want to try this one, this distortion for the new record?
Well, on this record, I switched guitar companies in between my last record and this one. So on this one, I played all Dean guitars, but you know, they're all built the same. They have Sustainiacs in the top pickup and EMGs in the bottom. You know, the Kaler, they still got preamps in them, which I kind of got away from that now, but historically I've always had a preamp in my guitar, so I can just turn it on for leads if I want to. But lately I've been doing a Zakk Wylde, what is that thing, an overdrive? Zakk Wylde, I got the Zakk Wylde wah, and I got the Zakk Wylde, I think it's an overdrive. But I just use that for leads. The rhythm sound just comes straight from my signature head, which ever since that came out, that's all I've used. Not modified, just straight out of the box.
And how long does it take to, let me say, find the right sound for the record? Well,
my stuff's been pretty dialed in for the better part of 10 years, I'm sure. So at that point, it's, in my view, it's up to the producer, because he's going to mic the cabinets, and then coming through the board, he's going to tweak things to where we get a sound that we're both like, yeah, let's roll with that. And then even after we record it, in mastering and mixing, you know, you can still tweak it more.
I am not so into your live rig, you can say. Do you also use, or maybe will use the Kemper? The Kemper system, or is it something like, please stay away, it's digital?
You know, I haven't gone down that road. You know, Phil came in, he wasn't using a Kemper, but something similar. And I remember Gary on the last record used a Kemper for his solos, I believe. Yeah, I get it. The technology is awesome, but I haven't got away from my head yet.
When you will play live, can people expect what they saw in your music video with all those fire, etc., huge production? Or what else do you plan?
I would imagine like in America, in the middle of July, we take off on a big tour with Lamb of God and Mastodon. So we'll be third on the bill. So we're not going to have tons of space for stuff like that. And pyro is very expensive.
Okay.
So I think in some of the shows that we do here in Europe, like Hellfest, say, I know there's going to be like house pyro there.
Yeah.
It's going to be existing, so we will have it. But it's not going to be like we used to bring around in Slayer, stuff that was made just for us. It will just be like generic dragons, you know. And plus, we're not going to be rolling with our own pyro guy, so somebody's got to know my new material enough to do it and make sure nobody's standing over it. You know, you got to have spotters, and there's a lot of things going on when you have pyro on stage. So if you're fortunate enough to see us where we have that in Europe, yeah, we'll have it, but we're not going to be rolling with it everywhere yet. That's something I'd like to achieve, maybe record 2.
Our magazine is called Moshpit Passion. I would like to know a crazy moshpit experience from your view as a musician. We are standing on a stage and we are like...
Oh, I got it. Me and Jeff laughed our asses off. I was on Jeff's side of the stage, you know, over there, you know, headbanging, putting on a show with Jeff, and we both saw it. We looked down right in front of him, and there was this, of course, you know, people going crazy, and all of a sudden this guy in a wheelchair comes up above everyone, and they're just handing him over into the barricade. And it was the first time either of us ever seen that, and we just put our heads down and laughed on stage.
Crazy.
I think it's cool, but when you're not expecting it, it just surprised us and made us both laugh like crazy.
Kerry, thank you very much for the time, for the interview. I wish you all the best for the new record. Für die Zuschauer draußen, das war das Interview mit dem lieben Kerry. Das neue Album From Hell I Rise kommt jetzt im Mai raus. Ich habe euch unten alles weitere verlinkt. In dem Sinne, haut rein und bye bye.
Moshpit passion, you know, for the passion of music.